Has everybody got sound back on the camera deck? Everybody's getting good sound, okay. Okay, I believe we're ready to start. We'd like to welcome Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly and Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. Gentlemen, welcome, and we'd like to give you an opportunity for an opening statement. Coach Kelly, if you'd like to begin, please.
Well, certainly want to thank the Cotton Bowl for their incredible Texas hospitality. Dabo and I were just talking about the treatment that each team's staff and family receives here has been second to none. Certainly our sponsors, Goodyear, and then everybody that has just made this a really great week for everybody. At the same time, not putting us in a position where we can't focus on what's important, and that is the preparation leading up to this playoff game. So on behalf of Notre Dame, we want to thank the Cotton Bowl again, and certainly we're looking forward to a great matchup tomorrow.
Coach Swinney.
Yeah, good morning, and I would say the same thing. This has been a wonderful week. First time I've been to the Cotton Bowl, and what an amazing experience for our staff, all of our players, our support staff. I mean, they have gone above and beyond to make this a great trip, and it's been a little different this year with managing Christmas as a part of it as well. But I tell you, we have truly had a great experience. It's been an incredibly fast week. I cannot believe it's Friday. I think we're both glad that it's getting time to play. But great environment to practice, great hospitality, and a lot of good food too. So really appreciate the Cotton Bowl folks and everyone who works so hard to make this a great week. I mean, it's a well-oiled machine, that's for sure. I think it took like a minute and a half to get over here from our hotel with the police, and everybody's just well coordinated. So we're very thankful and appreciative and excited to play in this game against an unbelievable opponent.
Okay, we're going to take questions from the floor. If you'll put your hand up, and also as a courtesy, as we mentioned earlier, give your name and your affiliation. And we've got 2 microphone people here. We'll get the microphone to you. We got a question on the inside aisle, so we'll move real quickly and get that.
Austin Huff here, Goshen News. For both of you guys, what are you guys trying to accomplish here in the last 24 hours as we get closer here to the kickoff? We can start with Dabo.
Just really our routine. Obviously you have a lot of time to prepare for this opponent, but we love routine. And that's one of the things that's been kind of cool about this particular bowl is a Monday's actually a Monday and a Friday's actually a Friday. So that's been a little easier, but today is Friday, and so we have a very routine day, and I think that helps. And so we just prepare for the game as we do for all of our games. Obviously you've had a lot more time, but I think the routine, it's important that it's the same. So we'll go about our business today just like we would if we were back at home or on the road, any other Friday.
Yeah, I would agree. Again, the ability to now get into flipping that mindset from a practice to a competitive mindset, using Friday to do that. But I think it's much more about the routine and, getting comfortable into that routine today. And our kids will feel as though today is really Friday and tomorrow they're ready to play.
We have a question on the right side, about halfway back on the aisle.
Trevor Groves, CUTigers.com. We all heard about the final ruling for Dexter last night. How did he receive the news? How did he take it? And as bad as it is for him, is this really an opportunity for Albert Huggins to shine when everybody's going to be watching him? And also Jordan Williams, is he at the point in his development you think he might be able to play a significant role tomorrow?
Yeah, well, he was obviously disappointed. All 3 of those guys were disappointed, but not surprised. I mean, it's not like it was a different test. It was the same urine. Sorry about that, but that's what it was. Different tube, same urine. The test was, the same. I don't think anybody was real surprised by that. So disappointed, but we prepared for that the whole way, or at least since Monday, and and our guys are ready to go. But Albert Huggins is a great football player, and you know, you just got to treat it like an injury. I mean, you know, next guy's got to go play. I mean, they're not going to cancel the game. Nobody's going to sit around and have a pity party or feel sorry for you. You got to go play. And we're fortunate, very fortunate, that we've got a guy like Albert that, in our eyes, is a co-starter for us that can step in. But I mean, but I don't want to I don't want to lessen the impact of Dexter. Obviously, he's a phenomenal player, and we're going to miss him. But it's opportunity for Albert and Niles and Jordan. Those guys have played all year long. They have a ton of experience, and you know, they hurt for their teammate, but you best believe they're excited for a little more opportunity for themselves.
We got a question on the outside left side. Put your hand up so that they can see your.
Hi there, Haley Jenkins, UTA Communications. It's been 78 years since Clemson was last in the Cotton Bowl, and this is only the 4th time going up against Notre Dame. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's pretty crazy. 1939, Clemson's first bowl, and played Boston College, and they had a shootout, 6-3. So did they even throw the ball in 39? I don't know. If Newt Rockne had invented the forward pass or not.
I think it might have been 3 safeties.
3 safeties. So you know, Banks, McFadden, and you know, being in Clemson for 16 years, I've seen pictures of Banks, McFadden, and the one with him with the cowboy stuff on and all that. That's pretty neat. So I actually showed our team a little history video of the Cotton Bowl. But for me, it's amazing. It's awesome for Clemson, I think, to come back to the place that we were in our very first bowl game. It's been so long. You know, with all the bowl affiliations and all that stuff, I don't know that we would have gotten back here without this unique situation, the way it worked out. So I think Clemson fans are really excited. Dallas is an amazing town with so much to offer. But for me personally, too, I haven't been a part of college athletics since, you know, 1988. I've never been to the Cotton Bowl. And then you throw in the fact that you get to play in that stadium over there. I've never seen anything like that. It's unbelievable. What an environment. So it's special all the way around, and you know, we're excited about it. That's what it's all about. You get a chance to play unbelievable opponent. And, yeah, we hadn't played Notre Dame very much at all. And it seems like every time they have played, they've been epic games. And we were very fortunate to win in a hurricane in 15 down to the last play, literally. And the last time Notre Dame had come to Clemson, Joe Montana, I think, with about a minute to go, imagine that, took them down to win. So some really neat history, not a lot of history, but pretty neat history with Clemson Notre Dame. And then Tim Beret, as he sits right here in the front row, he is in his glory. 40 years as the SID at Clemson, but the biggest Notre Dame fan ever. Dad went to Notre Dame, Tim went to Notre Dame, and so trust me, I know way too much about Notre Dame, and I have for years. And it was when that game got put on our schedule, there was no way. I knew he wouldn't retire until we played him. So this is like, now he's semi-retired, but he gets to be a part of this. And you know, I don't think he can lose. He's one of the few people that can't lose in this ball game. So I know he's pulling for Clemson, but he's got a little 4-leaf clover somewhere in his pocket.
We've got a question on the outside left.
Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. Brian, if you stay through the term of this current contract, you'd be the second longest tenured coach at Notre Dame next to Newt Rockne. What if you thought of that and what that would mean? I've got a quick follow-up.
Well, I think if you can make it that long in this business, that's pretty good. It means you've won enough games to keep employed at the University of Notre Dame. You know, that's not something that really that most coaches give too much thought to. It's really about, I think, each year to a standard, you know, that Notre Dame has. So you know about Newt Rockne's standard, you know about certainly Leahy, Parsegian, Holtz, and you try to live to that standard, you know, each and every year. Try to get back to this game is a standard. You know, Dabo's been here 4 times, so we understand a standard of excellence, and that's kind of what my focus is, more so than longevity or trying to be part of a legacy.
Dovetailing off that, you've been asked over and over about changing since 16, this epiphany, change, whatever.
Yeah.
Give us bullet points that got you and the team here today since then.
Well, I think probably more than anything else, developing our football team, totally in all phases, from the mental end of things, their mental preparation, their physical preparation, technically, tactically. I think overall development in all those areas without missing any of those. And maybe in 16 we weren't developing them in all of those areas to a level that we needed to.
We got a question on the halfway back on the right side.
Trainer, the Charleston Post and Courier. Coach Sweeney, logistically, what are the next steps for Dexter and those guys with the appeal process?
What's on the right-hand side over here?
Oh, okay. Our Dan Radakovich is kind of running with that with our legal team. They have representation, and there is a process in place. And obviously the timing of it is not very good for this game. But if we were fortunate to be able to win the game, then they'll do everything they can to see if there's any opportunity beyond for next week, if that were possible. So it's really it, and then there's a longer runway, obviously, for the fall, because there's other consequences other than just losing this opportunity. So they'll handle that and deal with that, and that's where it is.
Question on the left side, 3/4 of the way back.
Dabo, and maybe Brian can comment on this too. You've reached the level of Ralph Russo with the Associated Press. You've reached the level of sustainability here with Clemson that I guess only Alabama has matched lately. I'm sure there's no easy answer to this, but what are some of the key reasons you can keep this up?
Well, we've got a bunch of good people, and I think that we've done a great job in evaluating, and I think that's the real key, is being consistent in your evaluation. We have a way of doing things that we believe in when it comes to how we recruit, who we recruit, how we build our program year in and year out. And I mean, we start over every January. It's a clean slate. I don't assume anything. I run the program as if nobody knows anything, as if we all just got there, and we literally start over. I think that's a fresh way to do things every year. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to the people involved. And I think that we recruit people first, we hire people first, and then we really nurture our culture that's in place there. And so academically, we've been incredibly consistent over the last 10 years. We just had 66 guys make a 3.0 or better. That's a school record. We had a guy win the Campbell Trophy. We've got just an incredible group of people that buy in to what we do and how we do it. I've got an unbelievable staff. We have great continuity on our staff, but when we've had changes, I've had some changes along the way. 2 years ago, I lost 2 great D-line coaches in Dan Brooks and Marion Hobby. We've had some changes along the way, but when we have, I think that, again, same thing. I've done a good job of evaluating and bringing in the right people that fit who we are. So there's a lot that goes into it, but at the end of the day, it comes back to the young people involved and their belief in what we do, and that speaks to the culture that's in place, and it just and how we've been able to sustain it in developing leadership year in and year out, discipline, accountability, and so forth. And so, I'm thankful that we've had an opportunity to be a part of this and to be able to win at a high level, and we've won some ACC championships and all that. But I'm most proud of the consistency that we've had. When we won the league in 11 for the first time in 20 years, we won 10 games for the first time in 20 years, and now we've done that 8 years in a row. consistency in performance is incredibly difficult. And I think it's very difficult to sustain. And so that's the thing I'm most proud of. And it's not just what we've done on the field, but it's off the field. 8 out of 10 years we've been top 10 academically. And this year we won the AFCA Academic Award. So it's what we're doing on and off the field, the type of young men that are coming out of our program, heading out into the world. And so that's, to me, what hopefully we'll be judged by. I mean, we all want to win national championships and all that stuff, and that's great. Those are great little moments, but you're ultimately going to be defined by the type of program that you had in place and how you equipped and impacted the young people that are involved. So we work really hard on that. Like Brian said, I mean, it's a holistic approach. It's academic, it's social, it's spiritual, it's life skills, it's career development, it's every area. And I think our commitment to that has been a big reason that we've been able to sustain our success, because I think certain types of young people have bought into that.
Got a question on the outside left, and then we're going to go to the right, and we'll go back to the platform.
Will Pelagic, South Carolina Radio Network. For both head coaches, there's been a lot of chatter about postseason reform in college football, and a lot of coaches talk about wanting to preserve the bowls. What can be done, or would you like to see done, that makes sure that these two semifinals and the national championship game don't dwarf the importance and prestige of the other bowls?
Well, I think the playoffs will continue to have a marquee look to them. I don't think that that's going to change. The New Year's Six, if you will, the 6 games still carry a lot of weight in the eyes of coaches and players. The ability to play for those kinds of games, it means a lot. It certainly does. Dabo and I were talking about, as we continue to develop our football teams, we still had 13, 14 practices with our football team, and that matters. So bowl games do, in fact, continue to develop your football teams, and those allow for what he talked about relative to development of your programs and long-standing success and longevity of successful football programs. So I think there's always going to be some tiering as it relates to the bowl games, but I don't believe that you're going to see, some are going to play in the game and some are not. Those are individual decisions that I think the players are allowed to make, but I don't think you're going to see any pushback from coaches. These are still important opportunities to develop your programs.
Yeah, I agree. And there's always going to be tiering in the bowls, just like there's tiering in college football. You have 130 teams, and there's tiering. It's just simple as that. But, I think that we already have expanded playoffs. I mean, I really believe, I say it every year, there's probably only 12 or 15 teams that really have a chance to get here at the beginning of every year. And so, to me, everybody wants to expand the playoffs. I think it's already expanded. I think that, the regular season is the playoffs. It's critical. The postseason. I mean, if we lose to Pitt, we're not here. That was a playoff game. If we lost to South Carolina, we're probably not here. That was a playoff game. If we lost to Duke, we're not here. That was a playoff game. So I think we have playoffs every week. If they had lost to Southern Cal, they're not here. It's a playoff game. They had lost to Pitt, they're not here. It's a playoff game. And so I think that's what makes college football so unique and special and different from all the other sports out there. I think the more you expand, then the less the season matters. Certainly other bowls, but I watched Temple win last night. I can't remember who they played. Duke. No. Was it who? Temple? No, not Temple. Baylor. Who? Baylor. Baylor, yeah, Vanderbilt. I watched Baylor win last night, and Coach Rule, man, that's what it's all about. How pumped was Coach Rule? How pumped was he after the game? How excited were those kids after the game? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with about how many bowl teams do we have? How many bowl games we got? 70-something? 80? I don't know. How many bowl games we got? Whatever. What's wrong with about how many we got? 40. All right. What's wrong with about 40 teams ending their season with a win and having a championship to celebrate in their own right? Because not everybody is going to have an opportunity to win the national championship. It's just not going to happen. And so I love the fact that I can turn on the TV and watch Baylor and Coach Rule, who's building his team, who just has had all this time to prep, extra practice, to go out and compete and to be able to celebrate a great moment, you know, as opposed to only one team walks away and is happy. We have that in all the other sports. And I think the combination of what we have right now in college football is great. It's unique. We're not going to make the playoff every year. I'm just going to go ahead and newsflash everybody here. So there's going to be a time where, you know, we're at whatever bowl, and we're going to love that, and we're going to compete, and we're going to get our team better, and we're going to do the very best we can. And so I think it's great what we have, you know, and I think there's awesome matchups. Duke beat Temple. I think that's who it was. Yeah. Duke beat Temple, and I know Coach Cutt was pumped up. His team was excited. I think that's awesome. I don't see anything wrong with that. So I think there's always people pushing whatever agendas they want either way. But as a guy who's been a part of it for a long time, as a player and a coach, I love what we have, and love the bowls and all that stuff.
We got a question on the aisle here in the center, about halfway back.
Good morning, gentlemen. Marty Smith, ESPN. I want you to paint a picture for us, Coach Sweeney. You, at the end of 2010, you've lost to South Carolina. Future's looking a little bleak. You wonder if you're going to keep your job. Terry Dunn lets you keep that job. You go out and address the media and say the best 10 years of Clemson football ever are coming. You were right, but why did you believe that?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. 2010 was my second year. I was kind of on a one-year contract at that point. So I made it through 2009, my first year. We won the division, and so they said, all right, let's give them one more year. And we didn't have a great year in 10. But I tell you, that team, to me, that was the year that I really felt like, you know what, man, we got a chance to really be successful here, because I saw the buy-in in our team. You know, we had 5 losses by 6 points or less. We lost 2 in overtime. At Auburn in overtime, who went on to win the national championship. At Florida State, kicked a 55-yard field goal to beat us at the buzzer. I mean, it was like every game was down to the wire. But we battled and competed, and I just saw our team coming together. And we just weren't quite good enough in some areas, but we had help on the way. And so I knew that we were going to get there. I didn't have any doubt, zero. I had no doubt when I got the job that we would get it done. But I knew I was, you know, probably not a very popular choice at the time. And then we lost in 2010 to our in-state rival there. And when I walked in I did the press conference, and I walked out of my office, and my wife said, Terry Don Phillips is in my office waiting on me. I went, well, I said, we did the best we could. It was a quick ride, but, you know, we'll see if Brian Kelly will hire me wherever he was at the time. Back to work. And so I'm a pretty good wideout coach. I can get a job. But when I walked in to see Terry Don, he was sitting in the office, and I think it was important to him to articulate his belief in me, and that's what he did. I literally didn't know if he was going to say, hey, we got to make a change or whatever, but he said, listen, sit down, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something. He said, I believe in you more right now than I did when I hired you. And he said, I have no doubt. He said, what I want you to do is understand there's going to be some criticism. There's going to be this and that. He said, I don't want you to listen to anything. He said, I have your back. And he said, I believe in you, and I know that you'll do what you need to do. And so he said, and if it doesn't work, you can come over and help pack me up, and I'll come over and help pack you up, and we'll ride out of here together. And so But I was just very encouraged. But when I did a postseason press conference, and that was my comment, but I believe that. I mean, what gave me that belief is my entire life. You know, why wouldn't I believe that? I mean, I just look back at my entire life. You know, my faith. I knew that I was where I was supposed to be, and just belief in myself and the people around me. And so, yeah, I said I think we'll have the winningest decade. I know everybody's not happy right now, but by the time 2020 gets here, it's going to be the winningest decade in Clemson history. And so we did achieve that. That's the only reason I'm still here. So thankful for that.
We got a question on the platform all the way on the left-hand side.
Zach Groth with ABC 21 in Fort Wayne. For both of you, starting with Coach Kelly, what do you admire most about the guy sitting next to you right now?
Well, I think for Dabo, his ability to create, you know, consistency in a time where inconsistency is everything around us. It's easy to get distracted, and to keep that within your culture and your program requires just to have an eye on it every single day. So his ability to continue to keep his program year in and year out at the top of college football requires more than just recruiting good players. It's all what he talked about earlier. It's an understanding of the smallest of details that we could probably talk hours about. And, you know, again, I think that I admire people that can look at things from much more of a perspective of people first and the ability to motivate people, not just players, but everybody around them. And he's done a great job with that.
Well, for me, it is his golf swing. I don't know if you've seen his golf swing.
Which is not a good thing to have in this business.
He has got the sweetest golf swing, and it's really frustrating. He's a very smooth golfer. I did not know that, but I had a chance to witness that firsthand back in May. No, for me, it's just longevity. I mean, he's been incredibly successful at several places, which is really hard to do in this business. Excuse me. To win the amount of games that he's won, to be able to, wherever he's been, to take what's been there and make it better and to win. Whether it be Central Michigan, the Chippewas, Cincinnati. I remember watching him first time at Cincinnati, and man, what they were doing there. You know, and then come right to Notre Dame. Obviously, different standards at Notre Dame, but to be able to win at the level that he's won at everywhere and have the type of longevity that he's had in his career, I think that's what every coach aspires for. Longevity is not a common thing in this business. So I really admire that about him, and then just how well coached his teams are. I mean, this team's a great example of that. They're disciplined, they're accountable, they're where they're supposed to be. They don't hardly give up any big plays. They take care of the ball. They just play very smart and intelligent football.
Okay, gentlemen, that's going to have to wrap it up. We're going to take some photo ops for a moment. So if you all would stand up, we're going to let you be part of the picture of the Field Scoville Trophy. Again, TV people first, so all the still photographers, if you would back off. Let's move your chairs out of the way, Toby. Thank you. You guys could shake hands and kind of pretend like you like each other anyway. Television, have you guys got enough so we can let these guys up here? Okay, still photographers get the same opportunity, and then we're going to break up. Remember, we have a photo meeting immediately after this. So if you're a still photographer, please stick around for that.